Boys, it's Chinned. Today I will be going over my picks for Jack Della versus Carlos Prates going down this weekend in Australia. This fight is so fucking beautiful to me. I think that this is one of the greatest number one contender matchups in the history of the sport. I think this is absolutely the cream of the crop when it comes to contenders in a division fighting each other for a title shot. This is as good as it gets. The matchup is beautiful. And I can't fucking wait. I'm a huge Jack Della fan. I'm a huge Carlos Prates fan. It's going to be fireworks. The card is also really, really good. It's really solid from top to bottom, with some of the best Australian talent you can find. And it's a shame that the Jack Jenkins fight fell out. I know that Marwan Rahiki's probably going to be getting a replacement. I'm not going to wait for that replacement to make this video. I'm just going to release this. I'm going to guess that if it's a can, it's going to be a Marwan Rahiki round 1 KO, probably. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to act like he can't get chinned, but you know what it is. Starting with Cody Steele versus Dalmar Fan. Dalmar Fan is one of the better Australian regional talents out there. Really, really, really good grappler, incredible ground and pound, really good club and sub guy. And Cody Steele is coming off of I don't want to say fraud check loss, but he was a huge favorite over Rong Ju in his last fight, and they had an absolute banger, just a back and forth war. He ended up losing. But he's still a really, really solid fighter. He's pretty green for a fighter that's 31 years old. He's 7-1 in his career. It's a little bit too late in my opinion. I think Dalmar Fan is going to be able to weather the early storm of Cody Steele. He's probably going to fail taking him down early, and as the fight goes on, I think he's just going to be able to gas Steele out with constant pressure, take him down, and dominate him. I don't know if he'll get a finish. I'm going to be picking Dalmar Fan by decision here. Should be a really, really good fight to start it out. I'm looking forward to this. Moving on, Temu Garimbo versus Jonathan Mikhailov. Wow, the odds are really long here. See, I'm not under the impression that Garimbo is a dog shit fighter. He's lost to two pretty decent people. Vicente Luque destroyed him. Jeremiah Wells nearly destroyed him. I'm going to go ahead and say Mikhailov by submission here, but not without its troubles. I don't know. Garimbo's too wacky for me to say that he can finish a guy like Mikhailov or anything, and not consistent enough for me to say that he can get a decision. I'm picking Mikhailov by round 2 submission. I think it's a close-ish fight, takes him down in the second, and is just able to get an easy rear naked choke. I don't really rate Mikhailov very highly. It's just a bad matchup for Garimbo. Moving on, this is a really interesting fight. Ben Johnston versus Wes Schultz. I don't think that Wes Schultz is a very good fighter at all, and I'm surprised that he's even getting a shot this close to getting fucking flatlined by Damian Penis. Damian Penis flatlined Wes Schultz, I believe, at the end of February or early February, something like that. And Ben Johnston is a solid regional fighter. He is an eternal MMA champion, just one of the better fighters on the regionals in Australia at these higher weight classes. I don't think Wes Schultz has much of a chance here. I know Ben Johnston is rather inexperienced, but he's looked really good in his fights. I'm going to say Ben Johnston by TKO in round 1. Wes Schultz's chin hasn't recovered. He's too wacky of a fighter. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything to make Johnston hesitant on the feet. And as long as he's not hesitant, he's just going to push him up against the fence and TKO him. He's going to catch him with a big hook or something. Round 1 TKO, Ben Johnston. Moving on, Colby Slickness Thickness versus Vince Morales. Surprised at the odds here. I understand that Vince Morales is like a crafty vet, and he's always in close fights, and he's got a really, really underrated skill set. But Colby Thickness as well is kind of in the same boat, minus the crafty vet thing. Just a really underrated skill set. Really wacky striking. A lot of these Australians have some really unique styles. Thickness is one of them. Really wacky striking, but pretty damn good grappling. And he mixes it all together pretty damn well. I'm just going to say a basic Colby Thickness decision here. Vince Morales is tough enough to survive. Thickness doesn't really have much of a finishing threat in his fights. Should be a fun one, though. I'm picking Colby Thickness by decision pretty confidently here. Moving on to Jacob Malkoun versus GM3. Why is this a fight? I don't rate Jacob Malkoun highly whatsoever. Minus 1,000 is fucking crazy to me. But Gerald Mearshart is extremely washed. unfortunately. I'm going to be picking Jacob Malkoun by decision here. I don't think he's going to be able to TKO Mearshart. I don't think Malkoun's got power like that. If he does, we'll see. I could see Mearshart getting some crazy upset win here. Okay? Like, kind of, I don't want to say similar. Like, I was going to say similar to the Filio versus Durden fight, but really the matchup is completely different. But I don't know. I don't rate Malkoun highly whatsoever. I don't think he's good. Really, I don't. But I'm picking Malkoun by decision. I can see it being close, though. For sure. Junior Tafa versus Kevin Christian. Ugh, man. Ugh. I didn't even know this was on this card, to be honest. I'm going to pick Junior Tafa by round 1 TKO. Kevin Christian is not that good, honestly, and Junior Tafa is kind of due for a win. He's like the better of the Tafa brothers, if you ask me. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Junior Tafa by round 1 TKO. That's a yucky one. Should be fun, I guess, right? It's a Tafa bros fight. Cam Roston versus Robert Brejic. Is that how you pronounce it? Brejic? Robert Brejic is not disgusting. But he does concern me. He has a lot of inconsistencies with his gas tank, and he's just too hittable. A guy like Cam Roston is going to be able to just destroy him, just steamroll him. Really hard hitter, Roston. Really, really, really great ground and pound fighter as well. I just see him drowning him, getting a round 2 TKO. Just with low difficulty. It's not a very intriguing matchup to me. I don't think Roston's going to be tested by a guy like this. I don't rate Roston crazy highly, but a guy like Brejic is probably not going to be able to do anything to surprise him. I'm pretty confident in that pick. Round 2 TKO for Roston. Moving on. Boys, I'm not going to lie to you. We finally got Tai Tuivasa a fucking win in the UFC. We finally got him a fucking win. It's been, what, 3 years? Louis Sutherland is going to go out cold in round 1. He is one of the worst heavyweights signed in the last 5 years. If Tai loses this, literally cut him. Literally retire. This would be a brutal loss. Louis Sutherland just got fucking murdered by Brando Pericic, who's fighting in the next fight, like a month ago, right? When the fuck was that? And it was Brando Pericic, right? It was Brando Pericic. In a minute 40, got put out cold, basically. That was a month ago. That's fucking crazy. Why are they doing this to Louis Sutherland? There you go. Easy fight for Tai Tuivasa. Don't let people convince you that minus 170 is too long to play Tai. This is one of the locks of the card. Tai Tuivasa is going to fucking smoke Louis Sutherland. Should be fun. Shamil Gaziev versus Brando Pericic. My goat Shamil Gaziev, who we all know and love, has fallen from great heights. You know, when I first saw him, I was always talking about how dog shit he was. And then I picked Rosenstrike to TKO him, and that happened. And ever since, I've just been a great fan of Gaziev, because there's something about him. He's got that charisma. He's got the look. You know, he's got the style. Everything about Shamil Gaziev is he's a future star in the making. But Brando Pericic is going to, unfortunately, brutally chin my goat. We are getting put out in round 1. Brando Pericic is going to fucking mog him. In every way, shape, and form. Shamil's not doing shit here. Maybe he could take him down, Shamil, but Pericic is just too much of a fucking... He's an eat one to give one type of guy, and Shamil doesn't have a chin anymore, and his hands are down, and his defense is terrible. It's Pericic round 1. Flatline KO. Unfortunately, my goat is going out cold. Moving on, Tim Elliott versus Steve Erceg. This is a good fight. I see a lot of people saying that Tim Elliott is like one of the best dogs on the card. Like, yo, he's gonna beat this guy. This is a 50-50 fight. It's not. And I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Erceg could even get the TKO on Elliott, or like a club and sub, because we're yet to see an Erceg submission in the UFC, and I promise you, it's fucking coming. It is definitely going to happen. I just don't know if it's Elliott, because Elliott's got really, really good submission defense. Tim Elliott's not going to be able to do shit against Erceg. He doesn't have the power to beat a guy like Erceg, and technically Erceg is one of the best fighters in the division. I truly believe that. I think he's going to be able to not piece him up on the feet because Elliott has a really evasive style. We saw that against Kaya Sakura especially, who is a big power puncher, way bigger than Elliott as well. And he just wasn't able to do anything on the feet against him. Urseg's just going to be able to control the cage. Elliott's going to be moving at him every once in a while with that weird fucking front kick, like hopping front kick thing that he does, which I just don't understand. It never works. Steve Urseg's going to beat him up. I think it's going to be a pretty clear 30-27 decision, maybe 29-28. Just, you beat Steve Urseg these days by threatening to finish him. And Tim Elliott is not going to be able to do any of that. His only chance is subbing Urseg, and Urseg is a better grappler than Elliott. It's just not a good matchup for Elliott. With no power, you're not going to beat a guy like Urseg at Elliott's level. Very confident in a dominant Steve Urseg win there. In Australia, should be really, really fun. I'm a big fan of Urseg. And I want good things for him. He seems like a nice dude, so I hope he wins that fight. Moving on, Beneil Dariush versus Quillan Salkeld. This is just egregious. This is one of the worst layups I've ever seen in UFC history. I understand that technically Beneil Dariush is one of the better fighters in the rankings. I get that, you know. If you take chin away, Dariush can beat some fighters in the top 10, like for sure. But Quillan Salkeld is just going to absolutely fucking wreck him in round one. Quillan has very underrated grappling. We saw that in his last fight that he won by sub. And I picked him to win that fight by sub, I believe. I really do think that Dariush's path to victory here would be the grappling, but Salkeld's takedown defense is too good. Maybe round one goes to Dariush. You know, maybe Dariush can survive it via just pushing him up against the fence and holding him there, because I do think physically Dariush might be a bit stronger than Salkeld, so he'll be able to hold him down against the fence. But as the clock goes, it's just going to look more and more like a Salkeld KO to me. Again, I can see Dariush surviving the first, but in reality, I'm picking Salkeld by round 1 KO. Dariush's chin, it's among the worst we've ever seen at this point. This current version of Dariush is one of the chinniest fighters of all time, no doubt about it. It's going to be some basic 1-2 down the middle, too, from Salkeld. It's going to be a very, very clean KO. I don't know why when I think about this fight, I think of that 1-2 that Izzy hit Robert Whittaker with in their rematch, right down the middle through the guard that dropped him in one of the first 2 rounds. That's what whenever I think of this fight, I think of that sequence. I see that for Salkeld all day. Just a big 1-2 down the middle, or a jab right hook or something like that. Just puts Dariush to bed against the fence, just kills him. Round 1, probably a flatline. Dariush is chinny as fuck. It's a fun fight theoretically, but really it is a layup. I mean, I guess it could be close until Salkeld chins him though, so there's that. Moving on. Wow. Jack Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates. What a fucking main event. Maybe I should be like Ian Gary. Carlos Prates, that fucking retard. He sounds like such a fucking dork when he says that. Anyways, Jack Della versus Carlos Prates. This fight is just fucking chef's kiss, man. You know, UFC matchmaking, it's been really bad lately with certain divisions. This though, oh my goodness, this fight is just a work of art. My pick is going to be Jack Della by TKO. Very, very confident in this pick, by the way. I really feel strongly about this. Carlos Prates, of course, I truly believe him to be the most lethal power puncher in the history of the 170-pound division. I don't think we've ever seen somebody like him who is consistently putting people out who have never been put out before. And the people who he is putting out that have been put out before, they've never been put out like that. Joff Neal, for example. You know, he's gotten TKO'd and dropped and all that. Prates put him out cold for good. You just don't see power come around like this. Prates is the Ngannou of 170. But he has one major flaw, and that is when he is being pressured and pushed against the fence, he is almost a deer in headlights. He has nice, you know, right hooks and stuff, and he's able to, you know, switch stances and really, you know, mix up with the footwork and all that. But Jack Della is one of the best volume pressure boxers we've seen in the history of this division. Honestly, in the history of the sport. And I just think it's going to be very similar to the later rounds of Jack Della versus Bilal, where Jack Della is just walking Prates down. Every once in a while, maybe he eats a nice shot, Jack Della, but I trust his chin to eat some shots of Prates. But again, I understand it only takes one with Prates. I just don't think he'll be able to find the shot, you know? Under pressure and moving back for a majority of the fight, Prates is probably not going to be able to find as many shots as he'd like to on the chin of Jack Della. And the defense and the head movement of Jack Della is just too good. I just see Jack Della walking him down, honestly. From the first bell to the end, if it doesn't end in TKO. I just see Jack Della being a better overall striker than him, fundamentally, in every way, shape, and form. Minus the power, Jack Della is a better fighter. And he has been in there with some of the best the division has to offer over the last few years, including Islam Makhachev. And no matter how lopsided that fight is, you can't take away the preparation from a fight like that. And that alone, to me, makes him world class. I think Jack Della is going to beat Carlos Prates at his own game. I think he's just going to be able to weave the big power shots and pressure him up against the fence. And I think eventually the body shots are going to wear on Prates. He's going to start to actually slow down. And similar to the Ian Gary fight, he's going to turn a little bit gun shy because none of his shots are working. He's getting walked down and he just starts to look for one punch KOs, you know, and Jack Della is going to be able to evade them very easily. And he's going to counter with some big shots. And I think he's going to catch Prates on the temple and put him right away. I'm going to predict a round 3 TKO by Jack Della, late round 3, maybe around the 4-minute mark. Round 1, you know, maybe it's even. Maybe Prates has a moment where he's able to stagger Jack Della. Because again, he hits harder than anybody I've ever seen in this division. But I trust Jack Della's chin. So maybe Prates wins the first round. Second round, Jack Della is able to really, really get his range going and pressure Prates against the fence. He's able to dodge all of the big, you know, body knees that he might throw. Prates is a really crafty, you know, just a really, really mysterious striker, really elusive striker on the feet. You really don't know what he's going to throw. And he's got great knees and elbows. But Jack Della is going to be able to evade it all, and he's going to be able to roll with some nice punches and just catch Prates up against the fence while he's pressuring him. It's going to be a really, really high-octane fight, I believe, from Jack Della. That's the key. You have to pressure a guy like Prates. Because when you let a guy like Prates, who hits like a truck and operates off of his extremely long range, better than most people do, you're resigning yourself to a loss. You have to pressure him. And that's what Ian Gary did. And I trust Jack Della to establish a game plan like that. Round 3, after, you know, really laying it on Prates in the second, it's going to be the same thing, and he's just going to catch him with a nice, maybe a body-to-head combo, and put him away, TKO him up against the fence, maybe hits him with a nice shot on the temple, Prates just falls and curls up, and then that's it. That's the fight. And you also have the home field advantage for Jack Della, which doesn't matter much, but it should matter a little. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if Prates just goes in there and knocks him out. But I just feel very confident about Jack Della here. It feels like his moment. He's being so overlooked as well. I'd like to see what percentage of people are picking him. Interesting. So it truly is 50-50. This is just a great fight, man. I cannot fucking wait. It's just... The matchmaking on this card it's one of the best match-made cards. Every single fight is really fun to watch. Even down to the heavyweight fights, honestly. These should be fun. The Tai Tuivasa and the Brando Pericic fights, these should be really fun. Great card. Great card. I hope I'm right about the main event. It's just going to be really fun. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit me with a sub, hit me with a like. Comment if you have any thoughts on any of my picks here. Think otherwise, whatever it might be. This has been Chinned. Thank you guys for watching.